All right, what's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be doing a cab pressure vent on a 2016 Ram 1500. It's probably going to be same or similar on anything 2009 to present, 25 and 3500 as well. So this truck right here, very basic, does not have the floor thing that flips out, but if you have that, it's just an extra step of taking a bolt out. What we're going to do here is remove the 4 bolts that hold this back seat in position and get to the cab vent, which you can barely see that square right there. Looks like there might be a second one on the other side of the truck. I'm not entirely sure, but what was happening is my truck was filling up with water in the back, and I ruled out the brake light seal, which I'll show you in a second. So here's the replacement door, or flap seal, pressure vent seal, whatever you want to call it. I believe it just clips in from the back like this. Being a Mopar, of course, it had to come not exactly perfect, but I'm thinking with a few heat cycles that will fix itself. So how do we know it is that? Because of where the water is coming from. I replaced the third brake light seal out here a couple of years ago. There it is. And that's not really worth doing a video on. It's just 2 screws. But this, I think, is going to be relatively simple. Just take the seat out and put some muscle into it to get that out of the way. So what we're looking at is 4 bolts, 18mm heads. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the opposite, and then this whole seat assembly, once this is loose, I'll be able to lift this up. The part that pivots hinges on some little metal tabs back here. If I just flip it forward, I'll be able to then move this whole seat assembly about 6 inches forward without having to disturb the seat belt or anything like that. So I'm going to get to it, and then I'll check in with you in just a moment. All right, this doesn't look like it did a second ago. Okay, so pulling this back seat out, literally 4 bolts, found a penny, and lift it up so that these hooks are not engaged on those hoops, and it slides right forward. Next step, 13mm, remove 3 of these car seat anchors. Seat belts I'm just not going to mess with. The only specialty tool that you need is this glowing wrench. So this trim popper, I went ahead and picked this up at CarQuest earlier just to facilitate this so I don't break these, and then I'll check in just a second. If I'm not mistaken, there's either 3, 1, 2, 3 on the top, and then 1, I don't know, equal amount, maybe 4 on the bottom. So I'll get those off, check in a second. Okay, so it ended up being 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and then this just flips forward. Some of the other videos have you taken this off, but I think it's just a waste of time. And here we have 2 of these vents. So I have the first one, I just showed you a second ago. This, you can tell it's leaking. So we have some jacked upness right there. Basically what we're gonna do, 3 tabs up top, and we're gonna push this out. And there we have it. You take the good, you take the bad. This is my first time doing any of this, and what I'm probably gonna end up doing is just pushing it down in between the cab and or just that. Okay, so let's take a look here and see why we're leaking. All right. So here's the old one, here's the new one. All right, so this one is the old design that has 3 individual doors on each level. This one's the new one, the updated one, that has 1 flap per row. And from my understanding, so there's a tear on the seal, but it looks like that might have been a little, nope, that's where it was leaking from. So we have the water coming in on the top, so it was leaking from somewhere on this decroded seal. And you can see right here, this lip is pushed up. That might have been our mode of entry, but it's as easy as that. Next step is going to be to take this bad boy, fish a string in between the cab and the bed, pull it up in between, and clip it in place exact opposite of the way we did it. So the original one has 3 push tabs right here. You just push these 3 in concert, push it out. The replacement is going to be like this, and it's a similar setup, just 2 tabs instead of 3. So we're gonna put it up in between the cab and the bed, and we're just gonna pull it this way. And I imagine that this will self-correct over time. So okay, so here we go. I got the new one put in place, and it's literally as easy as just fishing it in the square and then giving it a tug. I did not get the satisfaction of hearing a click, but these 4 tabs have seated. There we go. We have a brand new seal. So I ordered 1, not realizing that there are 2, but it appears that the other one, well, it has been wet in the past. Doesn't look like it's leaking. I'm not sure what's up with that. Essentially, the old one, I just pushed it back and pushed it down to the side, and it eventually fell off onto the ground. For the new one, what I did was I slipped a bungee cord in between the seal. I accidentally knocked the seal off, no big deal, it's a weather strip. Then hooked the new one underneath the truck, pulled from the top here, and kind of fished it in place. And then I just reached in this hole and grabbed it and lined it up to where I need to. So I'm going to button it all back up. So far, this entire thing from the moment I grabbed the parts to where I'm at right now has taken about 20 minutes, and that includes washing my hands because I got some gobbledygook from the seal. Not a heavy lift, not super complicated. In fact, even moving the seat was a lot easier than I anticipated. So I'll get this put back together and get with you in a second. All right, so here we go, closing it up. Got the 4 bolts installed, put some anti-seize on them, because when that second one comes in, I'll be replacing it, just not doing another video. Just make sure that these things are anchored. When these things are on, they feel very, very solid. And quite frankly, it's shocking to know that it's just a little claw in a hoop. But there you have it. I'd say 2 out of 10. Difficulty, literally, I had no instructions. I had no plan or anything. I just picked up tools and made it happen. So if you have any issues with water leaking in, if you don't have staining up on the headliner, then more likely than not it's this. And in fact, I noticed when I was putting everything back together that the carpet underneath where this thing was wet. So you know, for those of you who don't know, I relocated up to the Pacific Northwest, so I get a lot of rain up here, and any issues will become readily apparent. So this thing is so brittle. I'm not even watching the camera. This thing is so brittle, I just touched it and it fell apart. So if you have anything in this age group, this truck's coming up on 10 years old. So yeah, you can expect seals and junk like that to be just falling apart. Next step is going to be how to fix the corrosion damage. My truck gun got soaked apparently, so I'm going to have to figure out what I need to remediate here. Looks like you did a good job cleaning it. So I'll just have to figure it out and make sure it's not jacked up. But there you have it.